Hello everyone, it's Dawn and welcome back to my channel. Well, today we're going to continue with our Valentine's series, but this doesn't necessarily have to be Valentine's, it could be for any occasion. So I've had a bit of a rethink about what I'm going to do for the top part. This is going to be a box, and I was going to put the words I love you or love you on the top, but I've decided not to do that. I thought we'd do something a little bit different, just to make it suitable for any occasion. So this is going to be a 6x6 box, and to begin with you will need two pieces that measure 8 by 8 inches, and I know that sounds too big, but it won't be by the time we're finished. And we're going to make a division to go inside this box, but that's optional, but we'll make it anyway, and I'll show you how easy it is to do that. So take your first piece of 8 by 8 and you're going to score it at 1 inch on all four sides like that. I've already done that. And you can fold and burnish your scores if you want to, just to make this will make it easier to stand it up. So we're just going to fold them like that, and then once we've done that we need to do a little bit of cutting. So once you've folded and burnished your scores, take a pair of scissors, just a small pair will do, and we're going to, well, let's do one end first. It doesn't really matter which end, because it's square, it doesn't matter which way you do it or which end you do first. So you're going to cut down just to free those tabs like that. And then what we're going to do, just to keep it nice and flush, we're going to cut out, a little wedge. So just a little wedge like that. And we're going to do the same on the other side. And then we're going to do the same here. So if I hold it up to the camera a little bit closer for you. So cut a little wedge just down to where the score lines meet. And then you will have a piece that looks like this. Or if you've never made a box before, I know many of you have, but we may have some newbies with us who've never made a box before. So once you've done that, you'll have a piece that looks like that. And then you turn it round and you do exactly the same thing. So cut up to where the score lines meet. Don't cut past it, otherwise the box won't look right and the lid won't fit. So we're going to cut up. We're going to cut a wedge out like that. Just pull it out. You'll have little bits, but that's okay. You don't need those little bits. You can just throw those away at the end. So cut that out like that. And then we're going to do the same on this one. So we're going to cut it. And if it doesn't come, just give it a gentle tug with your fingers. And we're going to cut. And now we have our box ready to put together. Now this bit won't take long either. So what you do, because it's square, it doesn't matter where you start, but just start on one of the ends where you've got tabs. These little things here, they're called tabs. So I'm going to start this end just because it's closest to me. I'm going to use my Creative Crafts bookbinding glue, but any liquid glue will be absolutely fine for this. I wouldn't recommend you use hot glue. I've seen some people use hot glue for boxes, but I really wouldn't recommend it because it dries too quickly and you might not get it in the right place the first time. So just what we do, for those who've never done it before, take your tab with the glue on, tuck it in the inside of the wall of your box or the side of your box and give it a squeeze for a few seconds. And then just do the same on the other side. Once you've got the glue, give it a squeeze and it will be fine, especially if you use this type of glue. And this particular glue sticks super fast. So we're going to spin it round. Just press the tabs in. Use your thumbs, or you can use a bone folder if you want to. Oops. So sometimes it's a good idea to let that dry before you start messing about with the other side. But for the purposes of the video, you can put a peg on there if you want to, just to keep it into place, but we'll just keep an eye on it and adjust it as we go. It'll be fine. So we'll just put some glue. Just cover the tab with glue like that. It'll be fine. And then bring it up and just hold it into place just for a few seconds. I would suggest doing one at a time. I have seen people do two together, but that doesn't always work out terribly well. So And again, especially if you're new to making boxes, I would advise working on one tab at a time. Just hold it for a few seconds, just until it's in place. Give it a bit of a push and you have a box. So this is going to be a box with a 1 inch tab, with a 1 inch wall, a 1 inch side. Now, if you want your sides to be deeper, obviously you need to make it bigger. So this is going to be a 6x6 box with a 1 inch side. If you wanted it to be a 2 inch, you'd need to cut it at 10 by 10. So you just need to add an extra inch for how high, the more height you want, you need to add an extra inch, or even ½ inch if you don't want it a whole inch. But for the purposes of this one, we're going to make a 1 inch box. So if you want it higher, add another ½ inch or an inch on both sides. So for example, as I say, if you wanted to make this a 2 inch box or 2 inches high, we've made ours 8 by 8, you'd need to make it 10 by 10. So that's just to give you a quick guide on how to adjust the depth if you want your box a bit wider. Now, I did say we were going to put a division in this, and so we are. You will need a piece that measures 3 by 6 inches long. And on the 3 inch side, you are going to score at 1. Oh, let's turn it over. I've already scored it, as you can see. But we're going to score it at 1, 1.5, and 2.5. Now, all of these measurements will be in the description box below. Just click the word more and it'll pop down. And you'll see everything you need to make. Now, this is super easy. What you do, once you've done that, once you've got it flat, take your central panel, your central score, and fold it like that in a mountain fold. So that a mountain fold, someone asked me the other day, what does that mean? A mountain fold means that the fold line or the crease line is at the top. So a valley fold would be where it's at the bottom, and that's what you're going to do with these two tabs. These are the tabs that are going to hold our division into place. So just give them a bit of a fold. It won't matter too much. Now what we're going to do, we're going to glue this big bit together. Don't glue the tabs just yet. Put your glue along the inside of your division. Now, you don't have to make the division if you don't want to. If you want to just keep it as a square box with an open space, that's absolutely fine. But this is just to make it a little bit different, if you want to. So we're giving you the option to do that today, if you want to. So just give it a squeeze. Keep using flat glue. Give it a squeeze, and that will be really good. So now you've got a piece that on the top, it looks like that with a nice rounded edge, and on the bottom it looks like that. And this is the bit where you're going to put your glue to stick it to the base of your box. Now, you can stick it wherever you want to. Now, if you want to do that, I would suggest deciding where you're going to put it, but because this is such a small box, I would recommend putting it roughly in the middle like that. So if you put it there, although if you're making a little note set, if you're making a set of note cards, you could put it there, and you could put a little pen down there and put your note cards in there. So you could put it there, depending on what you're going to put in it. As I say, if you're making a little set of note cards, you could put your note cards there. You could put a pen there. You could even put it that way if you want to, but it doesn't quite fit. You'd need to make it a bit longer. You could put it that side, but I'm going to put mine roughly in the middle. I'm not going to measure it, but I'm going to put mine roughly in the middle. So we're just going to squiggle some glue along the underside of those tabs. Put the glue out of the way for a minute. Put it into place, and when you've got it where you want it, I think that's about right, you can just stick it down. If you wanted to make some mats to go over the top to cover those tabs, you can, but it's really not necessary. I'm not going to. But if you wanted to, and like me, you'd put it in the middle, you'd need one that's approximately 3 by 6. You might have to just trim it down ever so slightly. But I'm not, as I say, I'm not going to do that. You could. Now, I don't know whether, I haven't tried this bit yet, so if you wanted to, you could try, and we're going to try this together, putting a little glue there, just to see if that will hold. It may not actually, because there's nothing to hold it into place, because it's just two gaps. But No, it probably won't, so we won't do that. So it's nice to show, it's nice to try it on video so that you know what doesn't work, so you don't have to waste your time doing it. So once we've got that part done, you'll have a box, a little 1-inch depth box with a divider, if you want the divider there. So now we need to take that to one side. Now take your other 8x8 and you're going to score it and put it together in exactly the same way that you did your main box, but without the division, of course. So you just score it at 1 inch, cut out the tabs and glue it into place. Now the only thing that I've done that's different is I've used an inch paper punch. I put it in at halfway down, that is, and gave it a squeeze, and I've made some finger lifts. Now that is going to go on there. Now that it might be a bit of a squeeze because the glue's not dry yet. The glue will still be drying. I made the lid earlier, but the glue on the underside of the box isn't quite dry yet, so we might have a bit of a... No, we're okay. That'll go on. So that fits really nicely. So if you wanted to leave it just as a plain box, you don't have to make red, of course. You can make it any colour you like. But because this is part of a Valentine series, I've made it red. But even if you do make it red, you don't have to make a Valentine. It can be for anything. So what I'm doing for this one, what I've done is I have drawn just the very basic letter. So you could make, I've made a whole set of alphabet letters. Now if you want me to show you how I make these, drop me a comment. Please do drop me a comment and I'll show you how we do it. But it's ever so easy. And you just draw your basic letter, and you can add detail however you want to. All mine are different. And in another video, if you're interested, again, drop me a comment if you're interested in these decorative alphabet, I suppose you call them tiles. And I'll show you my alphabet, or some of them anyway. And I'll show you how we go about creating this. It's really, really easy. So easy, even I can do it. So this was my own design. This was my own idea. And what we're going to do with this, I'm not going to do this now because this is just one of my templates that I use. But what we would do, we would put some glue like this. We put some glue on the back. I'm not going to do it with this one because this is just one of my basic ones. And it just sits like that, and that is really, really nice. So I've just cut mine down to about, well, it's not quite 5.5 by 5.5, but you can cut it down however you like, as long as it's, you could make it 6 by 6 to match your box if you want to, but I like to have a little bit of a gap. And again, if you wanted to, you could just leave it like that. That looks pretty good just like that, to be honest. But if you wanted to, you could take some of these these are just 3D stickers, and you could maybe just lay one in each corner if you wanted to. If you don't want to, if you think it looks okay without, to be honest, I will probably not put the flowers on. So I'm not going to lay them down too heavily. But if you wanted to, you could put a flower in each corner. I probably won't because I rather like the simplicity of it like that. So I'm going to take my flowers off because I've decided not to use them in the end. So I'll keep that like that. I'll move the flowers to one side. And there we go. I'm going to leave that like that. As I say, I'm not going to glue it down, but I will make another one. And I will glue it down. But there we go. There is our, let's call it a personalised box, rather than calling it a Valentine's box, because as I say, it can be for anyone and for any occasion. So there is our personalised box, and if we take the lid off, yeah, the glue hasn't quite dried yet, but that's all right. We'll just give it a bit of a wipe. It'll be fine. There is our division inside, so you can put some little chocolates in there. You can put some hankies. You can put some jewellery. You can put, actually, this is only 1 inch wide or 1 inch deep, but you could put quite a few bits and pieces in there. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to leave the lid off so that you can see the division. And I will be back on Tuesday with another project. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, so it'll be a surprise to me. So I will see you Tuesday with another project. And in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Do take care, have fun, and as always, happy crafting. Bye-bye for now.